All right. So this is a story about how I got kicked out of the house and at 16 and almost died of a drug overdose. So I was raised in a Jehovah's Witness family. By the way, I'm 53 years old. I'm non binary, transhuman, just had top surgery last year, which I'm incredibly excited about, and it's really hot here, so you're getting all this. You're welcome. Um so when I was 16, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. I was the last in the family to still be a Jehovah's Witness, and I had kind of early on made the decision that I would just live my life as a Jehovah's Witness to fulfill my parents' dreams of having kids, live forever in a paradise earth with them. It's a whole Jehovah's Witness thing. Um, and I was fine having made that decision. I was like, this is just the way it's going to be. And then I went to the mall one day, um, and I saw a girl who looked like a boy, who I said, that boy is really pretty. That would be cool if he was a girl. And then come to find out, uh, it was a big old lesbian. Um, and she worked at the Gap, and she was quite famous in those parts. I grew up in the Bay Area on the peninsula, and there's a mall called Hillsdale Shopping Mall. It's still there, one of like the remaining malls, I think. Anyways, so I vowed to make her my girlfriend, and I did. And mind you, up until that point, like, I think I had a really hard time, like, fully realizing like how different I was, because when you're raised in a religion like the Jehovah's Witnesses, I was born into being different than everyone else. I wasn't like the kids that I went to school with, because I didn't celebrate birthdays and holidays, and it so there was a little bit of confusion around that. Also, like, I grew up riding motorcycles and BMX bikes and skateboarding, and I rode a unicycle, and I had a rat, and um until I hit puberty, I was just like, I hung out with my brother, who is 2 years older than me, and my best friend, who was a lot like me. We just kind of ran around and did our thing, and until puberty, it was kind of like, we were all just one group. Um, and then I got boobs, and that all changed, and I fucking hated it. And I never wanted boobs. And ta-da! Now I don't have boobies, and I'm very happy. And I'm really sad that it took me until 52 years old to do it, but I did it, and here I am. And that is not the story I'm telling right now. Anyways, so I met my first girlfriend. And for a little while, I was able to kind of live in both worlds. Because I went to a Jehovah's Witness high school, I had a lot of freedom. So, because it's not real school. Um, and so I had jobs. So, um, I got my license the day I turned 16. I worked at jobs, you know, from 12 years old. I was working as a file clerk in an office. And then, somehow I ended up at Baskin Robbins when I was like 15. And, anyways, I saved the money. I bought the car, which was I think it was an 83. It might have been an 80. My first car, it was a Volkswagen Scirocco. My dad was a Volkswagen guy, and all I had were Volkswagens up until a certain point in my life. I've had so many Volkswagens, and now I've had so many Subarus, and I know you're all really shocked. But I had a car, and so I had a lot of freedom. And I would go to the mall and like, so anyways, I somehow magically ended up um becoming the girlfriend of this like basically like little dyke celebrity on the peninsula. Mind you, I was only her girlfriend for a very short period of time because she went through them, as you do when you're young. And at that time, 1989, 1990, the big thing was you um you had a journal, and you took your journal to either your coffee shop that you hung out with at or worked in, which was my case. I worked in a lot of coffee shops. Or you went to Denny's or Lions and you sat there all day in a booth getting free refills of coffee, maybe buying a grilled cheese or some french fries with ranch dressing if you had enough money, and chain smoking cigarettes and writing in your journal. So, just to set that up a little bit, I wrote in a lot of journals, and I was still living at my parents' house, and kind of like I was going less and less to meetings with my parents, meetings, church, Jehovah's Witnesses call church meetings. It was like less and less, and but I was still kind of like pretending because I mean it I wasn't ready to like uh disappoint my parents. Like, it was really important to me that I not hurt them and upset them, but at the same time it was like the second that I saw my first girlfriend at the mall, I swear to God, it was like a light bulb. Like, I was like, oh, oh, and I knew. Like, I just knew from that moment on. I knew I was queer, and that nothing was going to change that. Um, it was undeniable. And when I first got together with her, it was even more undeniable. I was like, "Ooh, I like this. Is yeah, like I'm a fan." And I wrote about it in my journal, all the details, everything. And I thought I had hid my journals really well in my bedroom at my parents' house. And I came home one day and I pulled up and probably parked on the lawn because we were that family. Um, Cars on the lawn. To this day, there's still cars on the lawn at that house. Um, Pulled up on the lawn, went up the front steps, looked on the porch. All my shit was on the porch, and I was like, "What what is my stuff doing out here?" And I was like, huh. And then immediately I had this like feeling in my gut, like, oh no. And I walked in the house, and my mom was standing in the kitchen, and she looked at me, and knew. I was just like, oh, fuck. And she said, fucking line for line, "So you like it when your girlfriend," and then described my in graphic detail, because I'm a very like detail oriented writer. And clearly I really wanted to remember all of the nitty gritty of the first time I had sex with anyone, especially a girl. And she described all of it, and it was horrifying, and I was mortified. And she said, all your shit's on the front porch, and you can take your car and all your shit and get out of my house. And then she looked at me dead in the eye and said, "You are dead to me." Um So I packed all my shit up and I left.